Don't blink, it's your boy Yink. Welcome to the show. We're doing well on this 3rd December 2024. As you can notice, we're smiling, we're doing much better. If you could notice on yesterday, the 1st December, I know yesterday was the second, but hear me out. The first we weren't doing so well. The second we weren't doing so well. We're doing a lot better. So this is gonna be one of the video where I explain why I'm doing better, my fear of doing better. It's gonna be a video where I also talk about branding for a very specific reason. So it's gonna be the classic ADHD video. It's gonna be a lot of yapping. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be entertaining. Maybe you learn a thing or two. Maybe you fucking press pause because you cannot follow me, or you think I'm going way too deep. But I'm trying to keep all the thoughts in my head instead of going under. Little shout to Sum 41. It was all a plan. I have nothing else to say. Nothing else to say. So basically, as you know, it was a really special day today. So yes, the first I felt really shitty. And I was like, okay, well, I've been feeling shitty for a couple of weeks, but today I really feel it more. I feel it in my bone. I feel it in my skin. Everything's about to change. We're changed at 9 till. And you're like, ugh, what can I do for that, right? But the first one, I'm like, I'm really not depressed, but I'm really sad. So let's talk about it, right? And then it helped. It helped a little bit. So yesterday I came in and said, you know what? It really helps when you talk about your things, right? So I did a video, and weirdly speaking, I was like, maybe by doing it twice, I'm gonna be healed. And then after I did the video, I was left feeling nothing, not feeling sad, not feeling happy, right? And today I saw my father. And if you look at the video we did yesterday, right? You know that I talked about my father now, how much I didn't want to see him, right? Which is not because he's not a good person. I love my father; he's a good guy. But listen, my father is demanding emotionally, and when you're not doing well emotionally, it's a lot, right? Simply said. So what happened today was kind of fucked up. And again, I'm all about honesty. I'm really all about honesty. So maybe I sound like an asshole, but hey, we all have an asshole, so it shouldn't be that bad. We all have an asshole. We possibly all have two eyes. Most of us have. I was going to say a nose, but that's not true. I was going to say 2 ears, but that's not true. 2 eyes, but that's not true. But everybody that I know have an asshole. Weirdly speaking, assholes are more common than eyeball. Who would have guessed? So instead of making me look like an asshole, which is actually pretty normal, I'll be looking like your fellow neighbor. Your friendly neighborhood. Instead of being Spider-Man, I'm going to be the asshole. So I was going to my father's house today, and I had a plan of pretending like I was okay. Because my mom, bless her heart, I talked about this yesterday too, so this is repeating yesterday, but it's just to prove how much of a continuity there is. It's just to prove how much I felt what I was saying, just to prove how honest I was being with you guys, because again, there's no point in me talking about my issues with being dishonest. Okay. I was looking for guidance in life, okay? I'm not the most religious person. I don't believe in a lot, right? Wasn't raised to be religious, so because I wasn't raised to be religious, I haven't found God, you know? So I was looking for guidance, and I turned to a book I found in the garbage about 8 years ago. And that book is The 12 Steps. Now, if you're in the AA, which is Alcoholic Anonymous, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The 12 Steps to Stop Being an Alcoholic. And I started reading it. And surprisingly, it was really helpful. Now, am I saying that this is the perfect book for everybody? No. Am I saying that this is the only answer to every single one of your problems? No. But if it helped, it helped. Now, if it helped me, maybe it will help you. I hope it helps you. I hope that you, but mostly, I hope that you don't need help. Yeah. I hope that you don't need help. How's that first heart? Stop wishing and find a tool to help yourself. Focus on not needing the help in the first place. So, and one of the first step was an atonement, realizing that something you did was wrong. Right? So I was like, my mom, I was talking about it yesterday, my mom, I told her to stop being worried about me because I was okay, and I was okay. And yes, my mom, she's worrying about me financially, she's worrying about me in this economy, she's worrying about me in life, like, oh, you're going to find a good job because you need a good job because you're 31 years old, you need to find a good job, which, honestly speaking, it's weird because she said the same thing about my father, but my mom, she's more, It's weird. It's gonna be a long video, so get used to it. My mom, it's very weird. My mom kind of understood who I am, and I told you guys this story before. But a lot of my friends, thinking about Child Carl, two of my best friends, right? They're very understanding of who I am. They're very like I'll do something that I'll regret, and they'll forgive me because they know that I'll regret it. They don't know I'm honest when I'm saying sorry, you know. And it's not necessarily because they let me abuse them, but more so in a way of you made a mistake. That's okay, right? Which is very rare nowadays. Um, my mom, Shao, especially Shao, Carl a bit less, but especially Shao. Shao is gonna come into me, and let's say I have a problem at work, and he's gonna come to me, and for some reason he knows exactly what to say. He knows exactly how to talk to me, to calm me down, to make sure that I'm okay. But still, there's a lesson inside of it. So I'm gonna calm you down, make sure that you're okay. I'm gonna teach you something, and because where you're so focused on me trying to make you feel better, that you realize that there's a lesson in there. No, by the time that you realize that you already did it, right? Because I trust you, and because I trust Shao, that he's gonna do what he tells me to do, right? So my mom kind of understood that. My mom, she tells me the same advice that my father did, but she does it in a way that's a bit more, I wouldn't say soft, but it more, you know what? I got a perfect world, a bit more subjective, than a totality. My father talks about in totality. My father is like, oh, is this way or not this way, but it's this way. I'm gonna tell you right now, it is this way. You're gonna try to find another way. It's not gonna work this way. I'm almost like, you know what? Maybe this is the easiest way. Maybe this is the way that there's the most sliding. Maybe that's the way that is the quickest to go there. And you could say that both parents will push you towards a certain way, but they do it in a different fashion, right? So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because you think about a way, we're talking about an alley, we're talking about a direction, right? So let's give you a visual aspect because I've been listening to a lot of Casey Neistat, and Casey Neistat, that's the way he works. So give you a visual aspect. So you're in a cavern, right? And there's a guide, and the guide gives you the way, and the guide is actually really good, and he tells you the exact direction to go, and the guide is like that. But you're more so a visual learner, right? So that when the guide is talking to you and giving you directive, you don't follow them because you're not so much of an audio learner, or and you're a visual learner. So you go in and you saw that there's arrows on the floor like a key. There's a bunch of panel that tells you, hey, you're on the right way, right? And by doing this is a visual support. Now, ultimately speaking, if you're very lucky, then both are coming together as one, and you have the best experience because you got the visual and audio stimulation, right? Which is the total experience, right? You're not gonna taste a cavern, right? But let's say my father is more visual and I'm more auditive, and my mom's more auditive, I'm gonna be listening to my mom. Let's say my mom is more so of giving possibility, and I'm more so a guy with preferred option. I'm gonna do it, you know? And the reason I said that is because my parents are both very similar. They're very different, but they're very similar. I'm very lucky. My parents, they disagree about everything. Everything. It's not their fault though. My father was more factual, and my mom is more emotional. That's life. Even there's time where my mom's gonna act and she's gonna react, and I'm like, Mom, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's more like my father, but at the same time, see, and it's nice because even though they disagree on everything, they agree on one thing, and they're wanting the best for me. And like I said I had wonderful parents, and I'm very, very lucky that I had good parents, right? And I don't know, dude. I don't know. See, my mom, it's one thing to tell her. Yesterday I told you that I told her that she told me. I told you guys that I told her, stop worrying, Mom. And then instead of stopping worrying, she stopped telling me that she was worried, right? And my father the same way. My father will have a different way of being worried, but he's gonna be worried. And they're both obsessed with me because I'm their only child, right? So whenever they think about parenting, however they feel paternal or maternal, and think about their only kid, and their only kid is me, you know? So there's a pressure of being the unique children, right? If you fuck it up, there's no more choice, right? You don't want to have grandkids. Well, you're the only hope. So I cannot tell my mom stop worrying, but tell my dad keep on worrying. So even though my father is more factual than emotional, he's still emotion. He's not made of stone. So I went in, and the plan was to pretend like I was doing okay because I didn't want him to worry. Because last week I was doing so good, and even I'll be completely fucking honest. Even going there this morning, I live 9 minutes, 10 minutes from my father's walking. Okay. Even going there, I'm gonna regret saying this all my life, but fuck it. Even going there, I was nervous because I was like, dude, I'm not doing well. I don't want to go there. And then I go to there, and my father, which is again also like me, a talker, and my father brings me 20 different subjects. I'm like, oh my god. And the truth is, I didn't see my father in 3 months. That's normal. But he brings me. We still talk on the phone, but not that much. Very very cold from my part, not his part, my part. And ultimately speaking, my father was the first time we see each other in months. So I was like, okay. And then he talked to me, and he talked to me, and he talked to me, and then he even brought up this trip that he did in Spain, Espagne, which is not Spain. Spain, it's kind of Spain, but it's not Spain. Spain. It's not the city of Spain; it's the country of Spain, I guess, something like that. Listen, I didn't have geography when I was in class. Blame my teacher. Blame this. Blame the education system that failed me. Okay, okay, thank you. And I was like, and it was weird because it's just my father, and there's a really sweet thing that happened today with my father. They're really really sweet things. I'm not gonna tell him that I'm not doing well mentally. I'm not doing physically because I don't think he's gonna understand. Not because he doesn't want to understand, but because he's more factual. It's more less emotional, right? So I'm not gonna tell my dad because I don't think he's gonna understand, and I don't think he's gonna understand, which means that he's gonna freak. Okay. Okay. You have a kid, okay, that's not a sport athlete, that is not a sport, and you tried every single sport with that guy, and it didn't work, right? Well, you're not gonna expect that kid to be the best athlete because you tried to do sport with him and it didn't work. My father, I fucking love that guy, but he's not the most emotionally intelligent person. My father is kind of the guy and I'm like that too. I cannot blame him. I'm like that too. My father, you're gonna have an emotion with him, and he's not gonna realize that you have an emotion. And when you're mad at him or mad at something, you're gonna be mad at him, and then he's gonna look at you after a couple of minutes, and he's like, "Are you mad at something?" And you're like, "No shit, I'm mad." And he has this realization, which, ultimately speaking, most people, when you're gonna talk to them, most people are gonna have a conversation. If they're feeling a certain type of way, you'll figure it out right away. My father takes a bit of time, right? Does that make him a bad dad? No. A different dad, yes, but not a bad dad. And I do that too. there's multiple, and I got ADHD, as you can tell. There's multiple times I'm going to talk to someone, right? And I'm like, what emotion are they feeling? And that question of what emotion are they feeling, coming from a place of, I hope I get their emotion, because if they need help, I want to be there to help them. Or if they don't need help, then I don't have to worry about them, right? So my father, and this really sweet thing that happened this morning, as I told them about the building was infested with I said rat, but it's not true. It's not true. I said rat. It's not true. I said mouse. It's not true. It's the mulot. So the mulot is like mole rat. It's in the family of the rats and mouses. It's in the same family, but it's not that. It's like it's another race. And my building was infected, and you know that I have a couple now. Hopefully, I don't have any more. I didn't have one in like 2-3 weeks, which is actually really good. But I didn't tell them that. I told them that at work, I didn't get a lot of hours. That's true. I didn't get a lot of hours. I don't make that much, right? I still make money, which is great, but I don't make that much. Now, technically speaking, I'm very lucky because I got a very supportive system. If I didn't have a supportive system, the salary wouldn't be enough. Which is, in one way I could be like, yo, I'm doing everything I can. But at the same time, if that supportive system wasn't there, I wouldn't be making it out alive, right? And because I wouldn't make it out alive, it's not normal. It's one thing that if you don't work and you don't have cash, right? It's one thing. It's another thing when you work, but you're constantly broke. Like, how the fuck am I broke? I work. Doesn't make sense, right? But with my job, I make around, I'm gonna say, I'll make around $550 a month. Okay, that's a month. Now, if you don't know, my rent is $625. Okay, I don't know if you're good at math, but there's a problem somewhere, right? And I told him about that, and it's funny because even though he talked about a lot of subjects, even though he talked about, even though he talked about every single thing, but my problems, he knew about those two things. He mentioned those two things. He asked about my mom, which he never does. He asked how my mom was doing. which is really sweet of him. Really, really sweet of him. But you see, and at the same time, you're like, okay, wow, he was really worried, or maybe I missed him too. And it's funny because I was so focused on what he was saying and trying to understand what he was saying because my father has it rough. He had an operation in one eye, so he has this eyelid, right? And because I don't know what happened, but his eyelid is lower, so half of his eye is gonna be covered, right? So he'll be looking at you like this. And I love my father, but that's the truth. He'll be looking at you like this. So if you're looking like this, if I close my eyes, I don't see as well as this one, right? So he has one eye where you don't see well because the eyelid is too low. So he had an operation with that, and it didn't work out. And I'm like, holy shit. And then he had a trip to Spain, which was during the time we didn't talk, and his trip didn't go well. So, like, look, this is basic knowledge. He went on a trip with another couple. He went with his girlfriend with another couple, but the other couple, they didn't know them that well. Nat, which is his girlfriend, which is my stepmom, if you will. She isn't really my stepmom, but she's been with my father for so long. I'm gonna call her stepmom. By respect because lately she's been doing a lot of effort to be nice to me. So let's applaud this. It's a bit more. See, I'm like my father in that regard. My father is very like self-sufficient. I don't need to see you. I don't need to see people. But then I see my father, and I'll talk for me for half an hour, for 45 minutes, on different thinking. Like, why is he talking so much? Because he didn't talk to anybody that day, you know? Like, okay, well, okay. Nachi's a bit more, let's have a good time. Let's have some friends. Let's have some social interaction. I think, and I don't want to be generalizing, but my mom is the same way. That is the same way. I think women are more like that. They're more so a society being. Me, I have a couple of my boys, and that's more than enough. Women, they really need to be part of groups, part of adventure, like they go into trips. And Nat told my father, she was like, yo, these are really good people, right? And then they went to the trip, and the truth is, the wife of the friend of Nat, she was very bossy, and she started bossing my dad around. My dad, which again, I don't know why he did that. That's not cool. He kind of put my stepmom in the middle. It's like, yo, tell her that I don't appreciate that. You're on a trip. You're on a fucking trip. And if you don't accept that, you're not gonna go in a different house. You have to live with them. So appreciate the fact that you live with them. Then realize that those people are not people that you get along with. And then don't make the same mistake twice. That's it. But you have to deal with it right now, right? It's like, oh, I have this shift today. I don't want to do it, but I'm already there. So I'm gonna have to finish my shift. I'm not gonna leave in the middle of it, right? And that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Long story short, it didn't go well. So you had this problem, and I don't know. Maybe talking about this problem. Maybe it made me feel better. And I think it's a very very weird thing. In the two sense actually. And the first sense is fucking humiliating. The first sense is like, am I feeling better because my father's not doing well? And I know what you're saying, Ing, that's a fucked up thing to say. Not really. If you yourself is not doing well, but every single person around you is not doing well, you're like, okay, well, guess what? The world is a tough place to live, right? I'm not being complicated. I'm not being weak. If everybody's doing not well and I'm not doing well, that's kind of normal. That's the new normal, right? And I realized that I didn't have to fake it. And with my mom, I was talking about it with her. I didn't have to fake it. So yes, I'm feeling better now. That's the thing. I feel better than I was yesterday. I'm doing a lot better, like a lot better. I'm smiling. I was in a good mood today. Now, ultimately speaking, the reason why I was in a good mood was because I didn't have to work, which work is another situation where I'm not super happy. Because again, I got one great boss and I got one boss that's a complete piece of shit. Which is, okay, well, I prefer working with you, but you're not here. I'm gonna have to work with this guy. So I hang around the place because I'm hoping to work with you, because if I work with you, I'll work there for a long term, but you're never there. So I'm ending up spending a short term with this guy, so it's not cool. But see, I know I'm not doing well, right? But I'm doing good today. And it's kind of fucked up because I was drinking this, which is a Monster. I know I'm gonna put some lights, because I think light's gonna help us. Reach for me, but I'm not there. It's so lonely without you here. But it's been so many. remember how it feels. So yeah, so that's better, right? That's a lot better. So I'm feeling better, and I was tasting today. I was tasting this, right? And usually I don't like Rockstar. The thing with Rockstar is they have some flavor that is fucking amazing, but some of their flavor I don't like it. So it's always like a gamble, and I don't like to gamble. So I'm like, ugh. I go in with 2 steps backward, which is not good, and it made me realize in my own insanity that maybe I was having a bad day because I thought it was gonna be a bad day. Maybe I was gonna be having a bad day because I didn't feel well the next day. I didn't allow myself to heal because I'm so miserable. I fucking hate it, you know. And I don't think sure this is a bad thing, but if you're not allowing yourself to heal properly because you have had a one bad day out of 4, then you're sacrificing 3 days, right? So I'm doing well, and I understand that I'm doing well because I'm not as focused in my mind, right? I'm out of my mind a little bit. I had a lot of event today, which takes me away from thinking. Now, there's always going to be this fear that if I'm doing better because I didn't think about my situation, that's kind of denial, that's kind of avoidance. But you know what? Fuck that. I'm doing well today. I'm doing good. See, and it's actually quite nice to have this because this is a brand. And I was like, I saw the brand and I was like, ugh, right? But then I bought it because I wanted to test some new things with you guys. Because again, I think diversity is good. But it's so weird because I'm more visual, right? I'm more visual when it comes to learning. And it was so fucking weird because you see the brand, right? You see the brand and you're like, okay, I'm not a fan of it, right? So you come in with kind of hesitation, right? And then you look at your day and you go in like, oh, when I have a bad day, because you kind of hesitate, right? Then you realize that no matter the brand, you were able to have a good feeling. And no matter how you felt, was able to have a good day. So in the 2 cases is your naming thing or your naming thing. And because you're naming things or you're putting a value on things, which is a negative value, by the way, I'm just saying. Negative value in the sense of, oh, it's a shitty. I don't like this brand, right? But you can also brand emotion, right? And the craziest thing is you realize at the end of the day that somehow, some way, diversity was the answer you were looking for. You were looking at yourself to fix problem. All you needed to talk to people that cared about you, you know? And you didn't allow yourself to have good emotion, but because of diversity, you had a good emotion. But diversity is also having bad emotion because you want to have a whole plethora of emotion. You want to feel every single thing. That way you feel life. So you have to embrace those negative emotion because you embrace those negative emotion. Like, fuck, I'm alive, right? But the negative emotion are so powerful that it's hard to move away or move on. If I have a heartbreak, if I'm in a relationship and it doesn't work, right? It's funny, I'm the kind of guy that gets attached quickly. I'm going to be in a relationship for 3 weeks and I'm going to have a problem with it after a month and 2 months. You know? And that sucks. Even yesterday, and I feel horrible about that. Yesterday, the highlight of my day was 2 things. One of my good friends, Sir Wizalot Ochwi, you can follow him, please. One of my friends was like, dude, this guy is amazing. You have a problem with your TikTok account? I'm going to help you out. I have an agency, I can take care of this for you. I was like, dude, thank you. Now, you can have your opinion on an agency, right? I don't know much about them, to be honest. I'm gonna have an interview with this guy. I'm gonna have like a solid interview, like a solid discussion with this guy. And I think it's kind of cool because I trust him, right? We've been friends for years, so I do trust him. And ultimately, I don't think it matters how I look at agency. I thought the strike was gonna go away on their own. They haven't gone away on their own. Because they haven't gone away on their own, it doesn't matter. Because even if you don't like agency, do you prefer losing your account? No. Okay. The highlight of my day yesterday was I can help you. The second highlight of my day was a person that came in my DMs. I told you guys this story. A total stranger. And so you see, it's kind of funny. I told this story before. But I try to spend at least 30 minutes, 40 minutes a day right? On my channel, on the main channel, to watch other people's video, to see how my peoples are doing, to see the events. It's like, to me, it's very weird, but it works in a way of, it works in a way of kind of news, right? Kind of news. Okay, so a lot of people are talking about this, something happened here, right? That's kind of cool. And I look at people and my friend and to see how they're doing. So that way, I don't necessarily need to ask you how you're doing. If I see a video of you crying, right? And I did that on my main channel, and then I had a gaming channel, which I have a lot less follower. So I always go on friend, because For You page doesn't do anything for me. I always go on friend. And I was friend with this person, right? And I saw her crying. And the truth is, I don't know that person. She follows me, I follow her, but I don't know that person. And I just wrote chin up. And yesterday, that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Today, I received a DM, and she wrote like five texts. And I woke up and I read it. And she said, thank you. She said, this meant so much to me. You really helped out. And this was my day, to find out a total stranger could help you. That I could help a total stranger, you know? Because, again, it's not about giving. It's not about receiving. It's about giving, right? And for that moment, it didn't matter how bad I was doing. I had helped someone, you know? And I feel kind of shitty because I never received message like that. I'm always supportive, but I never received like message like, oh, dude, you really helped out, right? Maybe if I did, you're supposed to be like, wow, I did something good today. I feel good about myself. I'm valuing myself in a positive fashion because people are valuing me in a positive fashion, right? Evaluation of people. Another crazy subject. Evaluation of people is very quickly. I'm going to make a video about that after that because I think it's a good subject. The evaluation of people is actually quite simple. So evaluation of people is how people perceive you. And evaluation of people is like, this guy's a good person and this guy's a bad person. Evaluation of people is actually quite important because people will tell other people this is how you should value him or her. And because people tell other people this is how you should value them, they'll have the preconceived value of you. They'll have this principle of this guy's a good guy because I heard he's a good guy, or this principle of this guy's a bad guy because I heard he's a bad guy, right? I have such an amazing group of friends where I can say some awful shit and you'll know that I'm joking, right? Sometimes I forget that it's my friends, and sometimes I talk like that with a stranger and like, dude, this guy is weird, right? And this preconceived value of people is how they perceive you. It is super important because, again, you want people to perceive you in a good fashion, but then you realize that the perception of multiple people doesn't really matter. A handful of people will see you as this good person. That's all that matter. I don't care if I please 1,000 people, right? Because I'll never have 1,000 friends. No, nor will I never want 1,000 friends. Why am I trying to please 1,000 people? Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? And this stranger that talked to me and I was like, I should have been like, wow, I fucking feel good, but it was not enough. And I wish it was enough. And then I talked to people today, my father, my mom, and I didn't even talk about my problems, or I didn't talk about problems at all. I talked about my dad about a problem, but his problems are it's so fucking complicated. Because I don't want to deny his problem. Like, it's shitty that you went on a trip with somebody else that you didn't like. But ultimately speaking, you should have done so. And ultimately speaking, you're never going to do the same mistake again because you learn your lesson. So it's a problem, yes, but it's kind of solved itself, right? For the eyelid, no matter how much I worried, I'm not going to be able to fix shit. And the funny thing is, he had an appointment today. So, you know. But yeah, so doing better. And we're doing better today, so we're going to be focusing on today. And thank you for listening. I know I was ranting a lot, but fucking feel good to be ranting. Love you guys, take it easy. Peace.